Hi there, and welcome to The Daily Gardener, an almanac of garden history, literature, and small botanical joys. I'm Jennifer Ebling, and today is August 26th. Some years, August weather can't make up its mind. Rain out of nowhere, then windy with the first hint of fall, and heat that feels more like July. The poet named Radhika Vijay gave up trying to explain it. She said August was 3 shades of weather, conglomerate together. Despite it all, August was her favorite. And it's the best month for many people because of the fair. The county fair, the state fair, or the little agricultural fair in the field behind the Lutheran church, the one that dates back to 1922. I like to walk past the kettle corn and the mini donuts and the sun-drunk teenagers holding hands, and I find the horticultural barn because it shows what gardeners grew this summer, all laid out on long tables covered in white paper. The biggest tomato, the straightest carrots, the pumpkin that took up half a garden, heirloom beans in rows, and then the blooms, dahlias the size of dinner plates, gladiolas standing over 3 feet tall. The labels all handwritten, telling a story of seeds, gardens, and gardeners. I go slowly, read the labels, and check the ribbons. And I marvel at what can happen when someone really commits to growing a perfect onion. And then, because I'm at the fair, I get a milkshake at the dairy barn. Here's today's garden history. It was on this day in 1880 that the French poet Guillaume Apollinaire was born in Rome. He was born Wilhelm Kostrowiecki to a Polish mother and a father who never claimed him. He took his French name when he became a poet. Guillaume Apollinaire is the man who gave the world a new word, surrealism. In 1913, he published a book with a flower poem called Les Colchiques, which in English means the autumn crocuses. The poem is about unrequited love, how he loved a woman who did not love him back, and it opens in a wet meadow in the fall. He said, "The meadow is poisonous, but pretty in autumn. The cows grazing there are slowly poisoning themselves." That line about the cows sounds like a metaphor for something deeper, but autumn crocus is genuinely poisonous, and livestock really do get into it. 3 years after the release of his book, Guillaume was a French soldier and was hit by shrapnel. He never fully recovered. He caught the Spanish flu and died 2 days before the end of the First World War. He was 38. And it was on this day, in 1888, that the historic glass house in Druid Hill Park opened to the public in Baltimore. The city had wanted a conservatory for over a decade, but the effort stalled until a local horticulturist named Edward Kurtz gifted his entire collection of flowering shrubs to the Botanic Garden after his death. They had nowhere to put it all, and that embarrassment was enough to move things along. The glass house was designed by George Frederick, the man who built Baltimore City Hall. He modeled the Great Palm House, the main hall, on the glass houses at Kew outside London. He also added an orchid room. The steel-framed building has 175 windows, and the glass walls soar 50 feet high so that the tall palms can spread out. At one point, Baltimore had 4 glass houses in 4 different parks, but this is the only one still standing. And today, it's called the Rawlings Conservatory. And it was on this day in 1922 that the Canadian poet Elizabeth Brewster was born in the logging village of Chipman, New Brunswick. She was the youngest of 5, and both of her parents had lost their jobs. So the family moved from one relative's house to another for years. Elizabeth read whatever she could, classics, catalogs, and even the writing on gravestones. She started writing poems at 9. As a young woman, she helped found The Fiddlehead, which remains the longest-running literary magazine in Canada. And though she went on to live in Indiana and England and in British Columbia and Saskatchewan, she kept writing about New Brunswick. In one poem called Where I Come From, she talks about acres of pine woods, blueberry patches, wooden farmhouses, and hens and chickens. And Elizabeth remembers her school. She said, "There were battered schoolhouses, behind which violets grow." It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, The Monk in the Garden, by Robin Maritz Hennig. The monk in this book is Gregor Mendel, who grew peas in his monastery garden in Moravia. Gregor was not a professional scientist and had no laboratory, but he did have a plot of ground behind the monastery, and season after season, he grew the same peas and kept the tally. He did it for 8 years. 28,000 pea plants, counted one at a time by one man with a notebook. The mysteries his peas answered were the exact questions Darwin had raised but could not solve. Gregor published his paper in 1866, and then it sat unnoticed for decades. Gregor Mendel worked in obscurity. He failed his teaching exam more than once, and yet he taught high school anyway, for years, without ever getting certified. He died in 1884, never knowing that his work would leave such a mark on the world. In 1900, 16 years after his death, 3 scientists in 3 separate countries discovered his paper at nearly the same moment and saw what it meant. Robin's book required a lot of research. It's partly about the man Gregor was, and partly the science of genetics, which grew up after he was gone. The Monk in the Garden is for anyone who ever grew something carefully and had no one notice. And finally, here's something sweet to ignite the little botanic spark in your heart. Today's fictional correspondence comes from the midwife Martha Ballard, writing from Hallowell, Maine, in the late summer of 1799. Dear Daily Gardener, today is clear. I'm 64 years old, and I still walk everywhere. Sunday night, I was called to John Dunn's wife, and I put her to bed with a fine sun at 7:30 in the evening. That was my 38th this year. I was there all night. I'm still tired from it. Mr. Dunn was married last Thursday. He just turned 21. I will say no more about it. Monday, I set out walking for my daughter's house, but Mr. Child caught me first. His wife has a badly swelled leg, and their baby has a sore mouth. Then in the afternoon, I had to check on the Miller's baby. Then back to the Child's. Then word came that my granddaughter, our little Dolly, had gone into a fit. By the time I got there, the fit had passed, but she was in a high fever. We applied burdock leaves to her stomach and feet and gave her a mullein syrup. Then she finally slept. I will come back in 2 days and have coffee. If you ever have a leg like Mrs. Child's, wilt the burdock in vinegar and spirit before you bind it on. It gives great relief. Do you have burdock where you are? You said that people of your time tend to pull it up. I would not. In September, I will harvest my sage. Mr. Ballard and my son Cyrus are hauling stones for the cellar of the new house. We go up the hill before winter. It's a mile out of town, which will be quieter, but also farther for me to walk. Now I will do more housework. Oh, how glad I feel to hear you are well. Martha Ballard. P.S. On Saturday, I cleaned my bedroom and my bedstead of bugs. That was the hardest work of the week. That was Martha Ballard, writing on August 26, 1799. That year, Martha delivered 51 babies. It was a banner year for births. In 1800, she delivered 26. Martha's daughter, Dolly Lambert, kept her diary safe. Little Dolly, in the letter, was named for her. The diary stayed in the family until 1930. The author and historian Laurel Thatcher Ulrich spent 8 years reading it, and the book she made out of it, A Midwife's Tale, won the Pulitzer Prize in 1991. You can read more about Dolly Lambert and Little Dolly and all about Mrs. Child and everyone Martha cared for in her diary online at dohistory.org, where every entry is another day of her life. Today's book was The Monk in the Garden by Robin Marins Hennig. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener, and remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day.